Welcome back to the high school Bekius program. Today we're doing Katan and Moed Katan. Tomorrow includes three main points. The first one is that there is a discussion that the Kohen doesn't declare someone as a mitzvah on Chol Moed, and we're going to discuss what's the source of that. Then we're going to bring up a machlokas in the Mishnah about reinterring the bones of a parent from one kever to another one, and then if that's permitted. And then lastly, we'll discuss about a eulogy within 30 days of a regel that's forbidden, and the question of why. So the Gemara, the master told Yesh Yom Shata Roba, Yesh Yom Shata Roba. There are days when it's fit to declare someone to be a mitzvah, and days when it's not. My mashma. How do you know that from the pasuk? It should have said on the day that he sees it, he declares it. My ubayom, and on the day the vav. What's that doing? To teach you that there are days where he sees and days he doesn't see, days that he doesn't get involved in seeing the mitzvah. Actually, the whole word is entirely extra. The because the Torah really could have said v'haru when he sees it. Doesn't say the day he sees it. My biyom. From the fact that the Torah put in that word to teach you this concept that there are days when he's supposed to see and days when he's not supposed to see, like on Chol Moed, and when there's Sheva brachas of the Chasan, you don't see the neck. Abaye, why didn't Abaye say what Rava said? That the entire word bayom is actually, he says no. I need that word to teach me bayom. You can only see negayim. A kohen is only going to see saras during the day, not at night. Rava bayom where does Rava know that concept from? He derived that from the pasuk that says the kohen has to see it with his eyes with natural light. Abaye, what did Abaye do with that pasuk? Why did Abaye not learn that pasuk to teach you day, not versus night? It's teach you that a blind person who's blind in one eye can't do it. Obviously, it's blind in two eyes, he can't see Nagaim because he can't see properly, but even if he's blind in one eye, the Torah is saying he has to be able to see he has to see with his two eyes. Okay. Rava, what about Rava? What is Rava going to do with that concept that if someone's blind in one eye, they can't see saras? Where does he get that from? No, he also needs a pasuk to teach you that. So therefore, Mikol Mare Kohen is definitely a teacher to exclude a Kohen that's blind in one eye, both for Rabbi and for Rava. In the Chanami, that is definitely indeed the case. Yes, that's also true for Rava. Fine. Nonetheless, then, what's the difference between Rav and Abai? Where did Rav know that you can't do seeing the Goyim at night? It says in the pasuk that it seems like to me that there's saras on the house. It says to me it seems, but not laori, not to my light. Meaning I'm using just natural light and I'm looking at the way it is, but I'm not using other light. Like at night, you use a candle to see stuff. That's not what's going on in the pasuk, and therefore he knows it's done by day, not by night. Abaye, why did Abaye not use that source? Maybe Abaye was it. That's because the Torah, that pasuk is discussing seeing a tumah of saras on a house, and therefore it has to be by day, not by night. But saras of a person's body, maybe that's more strict and you see by day and by night, even to a candle at night. Kamash Malon, therefore we say bayom harot. The word bayom is usually bayom v'lo b'layla. And Rava thought there's no difference between the house and the body for this purpose, and therefore we learn day and night from the concept of li v'lo ori. And therefore bayom is extra to each of the concepts we said before of there are days when you see and days when you're not fit to see saras, like the Sheva brachas Chol Moed. Our mayor says you're allowed to take the bones of a person's parents that were buried in one place and to bury them somewhere else. And usually that's a sad thing. Our mayor says, no, that's actually a happy thing. And therefore you can do it on Chol Moed. It's not considered painful on the Chol Moed. We'll discuss what exactly means something more. That's what it sounds like right now, though. Since it's simcha, you're allowed to do it on Chol Moed. Rabbi Yosef or no, evolo. That's a thing of mourning. You can't do that. Okay. You're not allowed to arouse and inspire sad things over someone who passed away a month or two before the regel. And within 30 days of the regel, you're not allowed to bring up those sad things and make people cry. Or you can't do a eulogy within 30 days of the regel. Or a minute. We have a contradiction to the Mishnah that it sounded like Meir thought it was a simcha. Wait a second, but it says in the Stam Brisa, I'm like it as someone Avi Ima Rezim and Abba Olam Kol Yom. It says whenever a person takes his parents' bones and moves them from one place to another and buries them again, well, that's terribly sad. It reminds him of the death of his parents. I mean, he has to mourn one day, but not that night. Whether or not he saw the bones, whether even if they're wrapped up in a cloth, or a sack, it doesn't matter. He still has to mourn that day. So doesn't that imply that reinterring bones is sad? So how could Rameir say it's simcha? Of course it's sad. What Rabbi Meir means to say is, since he's so involved in the simcha of the regel, he's not going to be saddened over the fact that he's burying the bones of his parents again, and therefore it's permitted because it doesn't it doesn't remove his simcha of the regel, as was Rabbi Yehuda says it does, and therefore it's forbidden. What does it mean to be ma'orer, to awaken, arouse this sadness? When there were the eulogizers and lamenters in the West, and Eretz Yisrael, this is what they would do. They would say, everybody who's bitter of heart, anybody who's sad should come and cry with me. To inspire everybody to cry, that's what's forbidden 30 days before the regal. Why is the eulogies and arousing sad things forbidden in 30 days before the regal? Why don't we say on Chol Hamoed is forbidden, or on Yom Tov is forbidden? We quote the following story. This is the reason for the Gzeira of 30 days. One time a person collected money and organized, whatever, he not collected, but he saved up money. This way he should be able to make Aliyah l'regel. And then a professional eulogizer came on the threshold of his house. And his wife came and wanted to hire this eulogizer to eulogize some relative that passed away recently. And she used all the money that they were supposed to spend for the regel. And therefore, Nimna, and they were refrained, therefore they weren't below Allah. They weren't able to do Aliyah l'regel to Yerushalayim because they didn't have any money for it. And therefore they said, from now on, you're not supposed to arouse a sadness and not to do any eulogies. You're not allowed to do it within 30 days for the regular Shmuel Amar. A different reason for this practice, for this prohibition, that it takes 30 days to forget about the sadness that a person has over the death of someone, even hear a eulogy or someone inspiring sad things about that person. My beinahu. What's the difference between these two opinions? What's the practical difference? Well, if the eulogizer says he'll eulogize for free, well, then there's a big difference. Because of Rav's idea that the person might spend all their money and not be able to do Aliyah l'regel, well, it should be permitted. According to Shmuel, that the reason you can't have a eulogy is because it's going to inspire sad things, and it won't be forgotten for 30 days before the regel. It doesn't matter whether it's free or cost money. It should be forbidden within 30 days before the regel.